So, female boxing. What do you all think about it? I believe the average boxing fan will probably have a kind of emotional reservation towards it, that they simply don't like seeing two women hit each other. And I think it's probably that emotional response that a lot of people would have, and that to a degree I have as well, that will stop it getting the kind of profile that perhaps the skill of the competitors merits. I'm making this video because we've got an upcoming big fight between Claressa Shields and Christina at middleweight. I believe for a lot of belts, could be for the undisputed. And while I'm not very clued up on female boxing in general, the history of it, I get the sense that this is a pretty significant fight, historically speaking. Over here in the UK, we've got the likes of Katie Taylor, and we've got a Nicola Adams as well as some Liverpudlian girl who I can't quite think of at the moment, but at least I can remember her face. So there are some named female boxers banging about that are doing their best to really try and push this. But I think even probably for a lot of female viewers, they will have still what I think will continue to be the hump in the road here. That when you see two women really bashing each other up, especially when they make themselves look good beforehand and then they're going for it, I think a lot of people will have that natural reservation. Now, female fighting isn't as rare as you might think. There's even records going back to the bare knuckle days of some women throwing down. Now, that would have been much more brutal because back then you went on until the fight finished and you came up to scratch in the middle of whatever kind of makeshift ring they'd made every 30 seconds until you just kept going and one of you couldn't function anymore. So there is something in females, surprisingly, in some females at least, where they do want to fight and compete. And I would say, on a skill level, from what I've seen, I saw Claressa Shields fight a few years ago, I think first in the Rio Olympics in 2016, and she was one of the first, if not the first female fighter I'd seen, where I was thinking, she can really crack with her shots. She's whipping in really good looking punches. She's got good balance. She seems to know what she's doing here. And I was technically engaged with her, thinking she's pretty good. To a lesser extent as well, when I'm seeing Katie Taylor go through the gears, it's pretty good, and it is a lot better than some domestic guys with the shots I'm seeing her throw, with the kind of combinations, the way she can open up your defence. It's actually pretty good. But again, I wonder how big this can get. What is your opinion on female boxing? What do you think skill-wise the likes of Claressa Shields, Katie Taylor, how would you compare them in terms of their skill level to some kind of like fringe, perhaps world title male? And what's your general opinion on it? Are you repulsed? Are you all for it? Are you one of the people who don't mind them doing it, but you're not too fussed about watching it? What do you think?